Howdy all, and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. I'm pretty much exactly where I left off last episode. I heard that growl. I might could use some... Okay, that might have been a bit far. Maybe just a little bit. How about that one? There we go. Could probably use myself some more food here. Oh, but you know what? My inventory is completely full. And this is why I was headed back to my base. So let's go ahead and, oh, look. I made myself a new pickaxe because this one died. Right. Can I have all the raw meats then? Because that's all I really wanted off of this guy anyways. Oh, look, there's another one. Where'd he go? There he is. You know, you'd think seeing deer walking down the middle of a street like this would be unusual, but it's not. This is how it happens all the time. When I was in high school, we took a tour of a college, and they so they're showing us around the college, and they take us to one of the dorms, and the college we went to is known for its veterinary medicine. Veterinary medicine. Yeah, I think that's right. I want to change it into veterinarian medicine, which would probably also work. But anyways, that's not part of the story. So they apologized before they took us into one of the dorm houses, and that it wasn't in the best condition at the moment. And so when they took us inside, it had like a common room, and it was really nice. It was like a sunken area just as you came inside. You know, you had to take like 2 steps down, and there were, you know, really nice couches. It was all nice and clean, and nice coffee tables and a big fireplace. And the one wall was like floor to ceiling windows that ran the whole length of the one wall, and the middle section was covered over with plywood because they had had a deer run through the window and smashed out the entire middle window, which was, it was probably about, you know, 9 feet tall and about 8 feet across. And the deer apparently died, and the rug was missing. They had to cut out the carpet where it had died because it just made a huge mess. And they said it was like the dorm house was actually the main dorm house for most of the veterinary students. That doesn't sound right to me. Veterinarian students, veterinary students, veterinarian, veterinarian, veteran. You know, I'm not sure I know how to pronounce that word. I should Google it. Alright, so yeah, it's veterinarian. That's why it doesn't sound right to me, because I am totally mispronouncing that word. Veterinarian medicine. That sounds a lot better. Veterinarian medicine. But anyways, that was the main house for all the veterinarian students. And so they said it was like a field day for them because they had this poor animal that had run through the window and was bleeding out on the carpet. And yeah, poor thing. That kind of stuff happens though. Animals aren't very smart. Um, okay, while I'm here, you might as well cook up a little bit. And I figure I could probably use some sustenance here myself. That's what I figured. Thought I heard my guy's stomach growling. Yeah, I remember one time I used to live I live in the middle of nowhere now, but I used to live even more in the middle of nowhere. And if that's a possibility, and it is because um, I I joke about it. Well, I don't joke about it, but it makes me laugh. Laugh. I find it funny. I find it humorous. How about we go with that? I find it humorous. I can't remember how far across this is. It's either 7 or 9. I think it's 9, which is why I did 9. So you might as well do all 8 of those. But when where I live now, okay, so this is a totally different story. Where I live now is on a state road. People, stop calling. And so, you know what I should do is I should count, right? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is 9. Look at that. And so it's not as middle of nowhere as I used to be. It's still the middle of nowhere, and so where I used to live, it was about 5 miles to 3 different towns, and then it was about 15 miles to 3 other towns, and then it was about 30 miles to the next 3 towns. And so I always joke that it was literally the middle of nowhere because it was in the middle of everything. Did my crafting stop working? What's going on here? My crafting stopped working. That was weird. And so the place I'm at now, pretty much the same. A little closer. It's about 6 miles either way to a town. Man, we're almost there to the. Could you please finish crafting? What is going on? And so. So, anyways, so being where I lived before. Oh, that's not food. Food goes on here. Actually, I should probably turn that into goldenrod tea while I'm at it here. Okay. But it was pretty routine for someone in my family to hit a deer because the roads go through pretty heavy woods. and about once every couple of years. And you know, I remember having to go to the police station to report it for the insurance company, because you got to get a police report. And I get out there and I tell the guy what I'm there for, the police officer what I'm there for, and he looks at me and he's like, okay. And then he shows me this map, and I tell him where I was at, and he wants me to point it out to him on the map. And so I'm looking at the map, and he keeps turning the direction the map is facing. And so I'm like, okay, well, here's the road I was on. And so I think I was right about here. And he's like, well, now you're telling me it was in a different spot. So where were you when you hit this deer? I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's the road you said you were on. I'm like, okay, well, you moved the map again. Stop moving the map. Stop twisting the map around in circles. It's not helpful. I don't need all that water on me either. Alright. Got new. Alright, we're good, I think. I would like to make some more broadheads if I could, though, before I leave. Oh. I would like to take my broadheads with me. And then you can shut off, and you might as well shut off. I don't like leaving you running while I'm gone. Actually, that one's got a lot to do. Guess let's just leave you going. And then you... recipes. Crossbow bolts. Bam, bam. But yeah. I was just thinking about last night, actually, about my cars. And that I've had over the years. The insurance woman came out to take a look at things. Oh, that was on his head, man. And write up the new, or go over, I don't know what she was doing anyways. Updating our insurance policy, I guess, was what she was doing. And so she's asking what we would consider the value of our cars. And I'm thinking, why is that my job? Why is it that people ask me questions that I clearly cannot have the answer to? What would you pay for the car? She says. I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to go on the internet and look up how much the car goes for. I wouldn't know offhand how much my car is worth. It sits in the driveway until I need to go somewhere. I don't pay any attention to it. How much would you pay for your mother's car? Because we're all in the same insurance policy to get a family discount kind of thing. And, like, well, I wouldn't buy my mother's car, so it's too short. That's, but, yeah, I was thinking about the various cars that I hit deer with, and the various cars that my family members destroyed when I let them borrow them. Oh, your head came right off. But, yeah. That's, that's, one of the things that happens quite often is, people's cars are really short now. Not all of them, but you look at a car and you think, okay, well, there's a, I don't know, what do you call it? It's not an SUV, but it's also not a car. It's something in between those two. I know there's a name for it, but I don't remember what it is. And so my mother has one of those. And if I don't climb in the car a certain way, I can't get into it because the door is too short for me to sit in the seat and get my head inside. Um, and I remember one time we were I was going to a work meeting, and one of the people going, she didn't want to go by herself, and so she wanted me to ride with her, which I was fine with because I didn't want to drive. She's like, "Well, if you prefer to drive, I'll drive, but if you prefer to drive," I'm like, "No, that's all right. You want to drive, you can drive." She's like, "Okay, because I like to drive. I get car sick if I don't drive." I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't care if I drive or not. I'm not that kind of person." Um, and so she gets to the house with her van, and the door on this van, the passenger front door, was so short that the top of my shoulder was brushing the top of the door when I tried to climb in. And so I actually had to get out and climb in head first to be able to get in the van. Uh, yeah. I'm not that tall. It just amazes me how short that door was. That's probably the shortest door size on a vehicle I've ever... And it wasn't even like a small vehicle. It was a normal sized van. It just had really short, tiny doors. Oh, I thought there was a... I guess it's the next one down, maybe? Or I just don't get a safe this house. That's the whole reason I came here, was to get in the safes. Oh, it must be in this room. Yeah. I spent most of my last couple days, well, yesterday and today, watching parts of the Stream of Annihilation, which was the big Wizards of the Coast thing, which is all about their new Dungeons and Dragons stuff. I also put together some new NPCs for my Sunday campaign, the one that I DM. They're getting close to their next area. I don't know if we'll make it. We'll see what my whim decides. I find I don't like to plan too much. I basically just need a framework, a very loose framework, and then I can usually make up the rest of it on the fly pretty easy. And I think I already got one of those, but we'll take it. And so, you know what? I do kind of want to grab this leather, though. Just in case. Okay, I want to look. Do I have the recipe? Nope, I still only have the iron chest armor. Where's the rest of the armor? Is that other stuff not called iron? Iron chest armor, which I'm wearing. Iron boots, iron gloves, Iron legs. Yep, nope. Man, I need some new recipes. This is terrible. I still haven't found myself a beaker to make glue with. I don't like that, for sure. Ooh, that's a much better axe than what I'm currently using. Let's take that one. But we did have a moment this weekend where they're basically like, we had a birthday party. I already kind of told this story, but we had a birthday party, and so we started playing before the birthday party, and then we had to stop, go do the birthday party, and then after the birthday party, we picked back up, and so right before we had to stop for the birthday party, they got hit pretty hard by a fiery breath of a hellhound, and it left two of them unconscious, one of them almost there, and so like, well, I guess we'll know what we'll be doing after the birthday party. Rolling new characters. It didn't even come close to that, but their defeatist attitude kind of irritates me sometimes. Because they always start moping. Like, ooh, you got hit hard one time. Sorry, you've killed like 18,000 guys that I've put together. I think you can take a little bit of damage. It's okay. I mean, one of them's 7. Alright, so I can understand him getting a little mopey. Because, I mean, he's 7, but come on, the other guy's like 37. So I don't think the 37-year-old and the 7-year-old should have the same responses. But yeah, we got in there and like I said, they got hit really hard. The attack was 6d6, so that's six-sided dice. I rolled 32 out of potential 36, and so yeah, that hurts when your maximum hit points on the highest guy, or on the most hit points on the... Wow, let me try that sentence one more time. That hurts when the guy with the most hit points has 44, and you just got hit for 32. And so 2 of them went unconscious with that one attack. But, you know, as a DM, you can... I didn't have any more Hellhound Blasts after that, because I didn't want to wipe out the party. But they're like, well, I don't even know if we should come back and play after this. I mean, what's the point? I mean, we're just going to die at this point. There's still, like, 5 things fighting us, and you know, there's more coming. We already heard there's more coming. And so after dinner, the 7-year-old came down and he's like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna play anymore tonight. I mean, it's not like there's a point. Our guys are unconscious, and you know, I'm like, okay, except that it's the healer's turn next, so she probably will heal you and bring you back up. You know, and you've been hitting these guys for a while now, so I'm sure they're about to go down. Well, I don't know. I mean, we might as well just wait till next week. And I'm like, well, you're still going to be unconscious and on the ground next week if we stop at this point. This is why I didn't want to start playing with them. Oh, man, look at that. An entire gun. You don't see that very often. I couldn't resist shooting the door. But no, I told them before we started that the only way I would do this is if they agreed. that we would schedule time every weekend because that's when they wanted to play. That was the time they chose. And I'm not saying we won't miss the occasional weekend, but I also don't think it should be every week you have to fight for whether or not they're going to show up. Like, I didn't want to do this in the first place. This was your idea. Don't tell me we're going to play next weekend and then I spend my free time making stuff and then you don't want to show up. That's rude. I mean, it's basically like saying, oh, well, we're going to have a dinner party at your house every weekend, and you have to provide the food. And so then you call, and they're like, yep, we will be there on Sunday for the food. And then you make the food, and then they're like, oh, yeah, well, somebody else wants us to go out to dinner, so we're going to do that instead. And then you're just stuck there with all this food that you've made. Oh, it's not even as good as that, because at least you'd still get to eat the food. I can't play the D&D by myself. I mean, I guess I could, but what would be the fun in that? I actually probably could have some fun doing that. I have been known to play the occasional board game by myself because I feel like playing a board game and nobody else wants to. It's okay. You just play multiple people, and you just find out who wins. Now I kind of want to play D&D by myself. At least nobody's gonna go, oh, well, I guess we'll just wait till next week. Like, no, you just get back down here and finish this off like you said you were going to. It's been 2 hours. You said 2 hours ago we would come back and finish this. I'm so sick and tired of this. Well, we already played for an hour. I know we said we were going to play more, but... So follow through with your statements, people. I did lower the hit points on the things so they'd die faster. I could have easily polished off the groups. 2 of the creatures could fly, which would put them out of range of 3 of the attackers, basically. And I didn't even attempt to do the flaming breath from the other 2 hellhounds, which would have probably killed all of us at that point. I didn't expect to roll that high. Whenever I do damage for my character, I don't roll like that. Although I also don't play a spellcaster, so spellcasters have massive burst damage. But, well, I guess I'm probably going to call the episode here. Still not getting to the things I need. I really need that, some more armor stuff. Do I have the recipes for the mini bike? I do. Because, I mean, I haven't been anywhere. I mean, let's be honest, I have really not been anywhere. I think that's the, outpost. So we could potentially go hunt down the city. City. Because there's definitely a city right there, so maybe it's time to start making up the mini bike and get traveling, since I can't find the rest of the stuff I need here. So that will be a plan for next time, though. Click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. We'll talk to you later.